Welcome back to my channel, and today we are going to answer a question asked by a student that how can we execute two threads simultaneously in C++. So it is for those who are trying to understand the advanced topics in C++. This video is for you. So let me just type the basic skeleton of the C++ program stream using namespace std, of course, and then int man void. It's a programmer introduction to the topic, so I'm going to practically show you that. The library you need in order to create two threads is called thread in C++, right? So I'm going to just type include the thread library. And you have to include the thread library and do not put the .h extension of the header file. And in order to create a thread, we need a function so that both threads can simultaneously execute that function. So I'm going to type a very simple function here. I'm going to call it, for example, prompt, or let's say display. This function doesn't take any arguments, so and all I'm doing in this function is to create a for loop starting from 1, let's say, up to 100, and then I'm going to increment the value of I by 1, and then I'm going to simply display the message that, for example, I'm hello world, right, and L. And then I'm going to create a second function. I'm going to call it printing or print docs. I mean, printing a document. I'm just trying to execute this in a context like in normal execution. If I call display first, display will be executed and finished its execution. And then the print function, if I call it later after display, it's going to start execution and then finish. So let me just do this, for example, int I equal 1, exactly the same thing, two functions doing different things. And I'm going to simply come here and say cout printing document dot, okay, and then endl save changes. So I've created two simple functions, one called display, the other is called print docs. Both are executing a statement inside a for loop 100 times. Now I'm going to create two threads, right? In normal execution, what's going to happen if I call display, right, and then I call print document, right? What will happen is that display will be executed first 100 times. So you will see hello world 100 times, and then print docs will be called after display finishes its execution. And then you're going to see printing documents 100 times. So let's just give it a try so that you can see the output. As you can see on the screen, we have hello world, and then here after 100 times it display hello world, then printing documents, right? Let's see if we want to execute this in a separate thread and this in a separate thread. So what's going to happen? Let's do that. First, you have to create an object of the thread class. So I'm going to say thread t1, and then within the parentheses, which is the constructor, you just have to type the name of the function or method, right? So the first one is display, and remember, don't put these brackets, right, these parentheses, just without parentheses. Normally when you call a function, you put the parentheses next to the name of the function. Don't do that. And then we have t2, and then we'll say print doc, and that's it, right? And don't put these parentheses. If I execute this, it's going to execute very, very fast. So I'm going to just come here and say t1 dot join and t2 dot join. You don't literally require this, but I'm just gonna put you in the habit of doing this, because what it means that after t1 finishes and after t2 finishes, you just want to simply display something or whatever. So just compile it, run it, and as you can see that we have interleaving things like the print document has been printed, I mean, for some time, then hello world, then printing documents, then hello world, and then one line print document and hello world at the same time. So this is how we basically execute threads at exactly the same time. And for those who are confused with the joins, if I just comment out this line, save changes, recompile it, you're going to see that there is no difference, right? But once I'm going to create a video about process synchronization or thread synchronization, to teach the concept of critical section, entry section, exit section, so-called rest condition, and what happens if you do not use mutexes. So wait for the next video. It's going to be very interesting. Thanks for watching. See you next time.